Breaking news out of Holyoke tonight. A recovered veteran at the Soldiers Home has tested positive for COVID-19 once again. Thank you for joining us for Western Mass News at 6 on this Monday, everyone. I'm Chris Pisano. Jordan Jagalinzer is off tonight. Now, this latest coronavirus case at the Soldiers Home comes as a grassroots organization is planning a standout tomorrow in support of family members testifying before state legislators. Western Mass News reporter Lindsay Kane is live for us in Holyoke now with more. Lindsay?
Chris, Holyoke Soldiers Home officials tell me that families are being notified right now, and there's no visits or any movement inside the facility at this time. And a letter sent to families obtained by Western Mass News, the facility's administrator says in part, 3 clinically recovered veterans on 2 different units were exhibiting COVID-19-like symptoms. They were given rapid tests and tested negative. But they go on to say further tests were sent out for confirmation. One of the residents' PCR test was positive. The resident was transferred to an acute care facility for assessment. Soldiers Home officials say the unit the veteran lives in is quarantined and all residents and staff are being retested for the coronavirus today and tomorrow. They say people can still test positive for the virus even after they have recovered. This comes as the Holyoke Soldiers Home Coalition is holding a standout tomorrow in support of family members testifying before a joint oversight committee of the state legislature. The coalition is made up of family members of veterans who have died from COVID-19 while living in the Soldiers Home and family members who have veteran residents currently in the home. Now, coming up later on Western Mass News 11 at 11, we hear exclusively from a member of that coalition on the message they hope to send to state legislators tomorrow. Live in Holyoke, Lindsay Kane, Western Mass News.
Lindsay, thank you for that live report. And now for a story you'll see only here on Western Mass News. A local woman says her dog was badly mauled at a local dog daycare center, prompting her to demand more oversight into pet daycares. She told her story exclusively to Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo. And we want to warn you, some of the images may be tough to see.
He's such a sweet dog. And all summer we were together every second of the day.
A family left with their 7-month-old Labradoodle puppy in shreds.
He has just wounds all over his body that are infected.
Not what Amy Baxter and her daughter Isabel expected when they dropped Ollie off at Pampered Pets Doggy Daycare and Spa earlier this month. Baxter says she got an alarming text from the East Longmeadow facility. Ollie was injured in a dogfight.
When I got there, he was on a bench. He was laying on a bench, crying.
Baxter said Ollie needed round-the-clock care and surgery. Now she wants more answers on why her dog was injured so badly.
My issue is, why did it happen? And once it started, why weren't there protocols in place to stop a dog fight? This is a doggy daycare.
The advocacy director of the MSPCA tells Western Mass News there are no state regulations that govern how doggy daycares operate in Massachusetts.
Insurance, physical space, training of staff, dog handling. They should have a kennel license with the city or town, but that's all that is required.
Western Mass News did some digging with the town of East Longmeadow, and it turns out Pampered Pets didn't even have that bare minimum of a kennel license. The clerk's office provided us with a copy of Pampered Pets' business license, but town manager Mary McNally told us in a statement, quote, "The business owner did not apply for a kennel license, only a business certificate." In response to further questions, McNally went on to say, "The business has been advised to apply for a kennel license not later than October 19th, 2020. Fines will be imposed prospectively if the kennel license is not secured by October 20th, 2020.
It's really sort of a free-for-all market.
When it comes to the loose safety standards of dog daycares, State Senator Patrick O'Connor knows them well. He's introduced a bill that would impose staff ratios and other protections for dogs.
We live in a day and age where we have regulations everywhere, whether good or bad. But in this space, we've been very slow to update the regulations that are necessary.
I don't know what I would do without him.
As for Ollie, his family says he's recovering from surgery. They want to see their playful puppy back to his normal self.
So there were glimpses that he's still that, he's still that dog, but we don't know.
Until stricter laws are passed, they also want to sound the alarm that care isn't always implied when bringing a pet to a dog daycare.
I hope that people will understand that they're sending their pets to these places at their peril.
In East Longmeadow, Audrey Russo, Western Mass News.
Western Mass News has reached out to the owner of Pampered Pets Dog Daycare for a response. Baxter tells Western Mass News she learned today many of her vet expenses will be covered by Pampered Pets insurance policy. Still, though, she says her focus is getting the laws changed and made more secure. The Mass Department of Public Health says there are 827 new cases of COVID-19 in the Bay State. That brings the total number of confirmed cases to more than 141,000. The state also seeing 15 new deaths from the virus. The statewide death toll now stands at more than 9,500. With recent attention on fall sports and how seasons are being impacted by COVID-19, one local youth sports organization is looking ahead to winter. The Western Mass Catholic Youth Organization has officially canceled their winter basketball season because of the pandemic. And Western Mass News reporter Sarah Granelli joins us live with those details. Sarah?
Chris, the Western Mass CYO officials tell us it was a tough decision to make, but ultimately they wanted to make sure that their basketball players stayed safe.
Kids who play in the Western Massachusetts Catholic Youth Organization Basketball League won't be playing this year. The secretary and board member of the group says there were a number of factors that played into the decision to call off the season during the coronavirus pandemic.
There was concern over safety. There would certainly be modifications needed. If basketball occurred, would there be able to be spectators? Would there not be spectators? What would social distancing be like?
Edward Godek tells Western Mass News if there were no spectators, that means there'd be no money coming in to fund the basketball program. Plus, there was an issue with how many gyms would be available.
The Springfield Diocese hasn't opened up their facilities to allow gyms to be used. As well as the fact that even some of our Catholic programs rent space from the public schools. We're hearing that communities like Springfield and Holyoke are not going to be allowing their facilities to be used by outside entities.
Here's a list of all the basketball programs that have been canceled. Western Mass News checked in with Springfield Public Schools Superintendent Daniel Warwick about sports come the winter.
We're doing an analysis of where we're at, and we have to bring it forward to school committee in the next few weeks. And at that juncture, school committee will make a decision based on what MIAA recommends, whether we move forward with winter sports or not.
So the state is expected to release some plans by November, and then the MIAA will review those recommendations. Live in Chicopee, I'm Sarah Granelli for Western Mass News.
Well, we have this spooky picture coming in from Connie, who's got these gigantic spider webs around her house. And it's that time of year when we start to see these guys out and about, which is perfect, of course, as we get closer and closer to Halloween. Right now, we are actually kind of mild. Temperatures are sitting at around 60, and that's going to be the story throughout this week, above normal temperatures. Dew points are close to 50, and wind is calm. And we do have that overcast sky you can see from the MGM Skycam with maybe a few breaks in the cloud cover here and there. Temperatures dropping back into the 50s here across Western Mass this evening. Temperatures not dropping too low tonight because of the higher dew points. I think we're going to actually end up very close to these numbers for our actual overnight low tonight and the next several nights. Winds should stay light to calm throughout the rest of the evening and overnight as well. Now, there are some showers out there. I know it looks like it's going to rain. We do have a lot of patchy clouds here in our area, and there's a slight chance for a couple of showers, especially getting into northern Berkshire County tonight. But the majority of this rain continues to move off to the northeast, and we will actually miss out on most of it. We've got our dog walking forecast today. Jake on that beautiful sunny day there with all the gray fall foliage from Courtney. We do keep cloudy skies into tonight. Temperatures dropping back to the upper 40s to low 50s, and that's where we'll be around sunrise tomorrow morning. And then in the afternoon, slight chance of a stray shower. Otherwise, we're just back to the upper 60s, and 70s are coming our way later this week. I'll have more on your forecast in just a few minutes. Chris?
Janna, thanks. Now to new details out of Agawam, where crews have successfully extinguished the landfill fire at Bondi's Island after 5 days of continuous operations. Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno stating in today's coronavirus press briefing that he'll soon be meeting with the company that runs the landfill for the city, Covanta, to determine the cause and make sure nothing like this happens again.
DEP and the state fire marshal now become involved in the investigation. But we want, the main thing as I indicated in sending out a statement late that night, was we want to find out what occurred, what made it happen, what's going to be done so it doesn't happen again. And then also I want to thank all the regional fire departments who have been there night and day, and to our Springfield Fire Department and DPW workers too. We are going to go after reimbursement and cost.
The fire began last Thursday and took the combined power of more than 12 departments to contain and eventually knock down. New at 6, the Hartford Current announcing tonight that its daily newspaper will now be printed in Springfield by the Republican. The paper says this new outsourcing will eliminate 151 jobs at the Current's plant on Broad Street, with layoffs beginning mid-December. The Current says this new shift will not affect distribution and circulation of the nation's oldest published newspaper. A Massachusetts woman appears in court today for allegedly assaulting a Trump supporter. What she's saying really happened next. And later, a soldier returns from overseas to surprise his daughter at her school. You won't want to miss this heartwarming story. Janna?
And we do have a new tropical storm out in the Atlantic, which does not look to impact the U.S. For us, it's a lot of warm temperatures. Your first morning forecast after the break.